to come into a breaststroke variation now with our small balls, optional. Remember, everything can be done without. Those small balls, even though they're only 1 kilo each, they get quite heavy when you're doing a lot of reps. So come down onto your mats, onto your tummies. Remember, set your centre, set that tailbone. Forehead resting onto the pillow. So we're going to take those small balls down by our sides and we're going to rest with our palms facing down on top of those balls. We're going to come up into our breaststroke prep 2. So as we reach and peel that head and chest off the mat, those hands just slide down on those small balls and then we lower back down. So we breathe out and in, out and in. Lovely. So we're thinking about that soft peach held between our chin and our chest, keeping that length in the back of the neck. We're thinking about those collarbones nice and open, those shoulders peeling on and off the mat. We're thinking about those hands resting gently on those balls, shining light from the ends of your fingers down towards your feet. Reaching and pushing those balls down to your feet each time you lift. We're thinking about keeping our centre set, so we're not working too hard through the lower back. We're keeping the shoulders and the top of the back working. Lovely, keep moving there. So keep thinking about that centre, that tailbone tilting down, eliminating too much work in the lower back. Lovely, go for 2 more. Lovely, take a pause down. Now we're going to come back to our level 1, but this time we're going to hold those small balls. We're going to peel off into a variation, hold those balls roughly hip height and just pulse those balls. Keep those shoulders peeled away from the mat. As you hold those balls, they're going to start to feel quite heavy now. Keep that soft peach held between your chin and your chest. Length in the back of the neck. Front of the neck should feel nice and relaxed. Lovely. Keep those shoulders peeling off the mat. Fronts of the shoulders away from the mat as you pulse those balls towards the ceiling. Obviously, if you need to, drop the balls down. Just keep those hands pulsing without holding on. Keep your centre set, centre solid. Lovely. Start to do circles with those balls now by your sides. Really starting to feel that working now. Little circles, little breaths. Switch direction. Lovely, good work. Really feeling the back of the shoulders working. If you're keeping the fronts of the shoulders peeled off the mat. Lovely, take a pause. Touch those balls behind you. Reach them back down to your feet. Touch those balls in the middle of your back. Reach them down to your feet. Lovely, good work. Touch. Reach. Front of the neck nice and soft. Keep breathing. Just a few more. For 3, 2, centre engaged. Last one. Good. Hands down. Shoulders down. Good work. Now push yourself up to those all fours. We've got a little prone prep variation now. So roll those balls. They're going to go under your hands. So it's going to make us work a little bit harder. So we've already just worked those shoulders really hard. So they're going to be really screaming you after this. But remember, the more you work through your centre, the more you're going to offload the shoulders, even though it is a good shoulder workout. So let's just take those hands onto those balls just under your shoulders. Lovely. Remember, don't lock those elbows, nice and soft. Think about that tray of drinks now, balancing along your back. The back of the neck nice and long. So we're going to tuck the toes under to come into our prone prep 1. We're going to hover those knees an inch, hold, and lower back down. So just works you a little bit harder just with that instability of those balls underneath you. Obviously, if you're using little dumbbells as well, you can be holding those weights underneath you. Lovely. Otherwise, you're just going completely normal into that prone prep 1. Up and down. Lovely. Breath out. Into hold. Out to lower. Lovely. Really engage with that belly. Carry on there. Keep that spine nice and flat and neutral, somewhere between your cat and your cow. Lovely. Lower belly magnets engaged. Rib spring engaged. Pelvic floor engaged. Breathe. Take a pause here. So you're going to carry on in that level 1. You're going to take those balls a little bit further forward. Remember, you can be flat on your hands. You don't need the balls at all. Lovely. We're going to come into that level 2. So breathe. Lovely. Launching that rocket forward, nice and slow and steady. Elbows nice and soft. One long line from the tip of your head down to your tailbone. Good work. Pause. Reach back. Lovely. Working that centre. Front of the body nice and engaged. We don't want to be here. We don't want to be here. Keep that nice long line. Breathe. Good. And release. Look, my spine doesn't change. I'm balancing that tray of drinks the whole way because I'm working through my centre. Good work. My headlights on the back and the front of my hips, nice and level. Let's go for one more. Good work. And release down, push those balls away. Give those wrists a stretch. One way, and then the other way. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to start by coming into that abdo prep. So lying down onto your mat, coming into that rest position. Option to use those two small balls, so just get those balls handy. So you've got two options for your abdo prep. Working from your normal position with feet down, or if you want to take it up a little bit and take that challenge, then come into that double tabletop position. Okay, so wherever you are, feet down or legs up. You're going to take hold of those two small balls and we're going to peel up like we normally do. We're going to reach those balls over our knees. So we peel up, gaze across the knees, reach those balls and then bring them back down to the thighs as you lower back down. Breathe out. Breathe in. You're thinking about that gaze over your knees, keeping the front of the neck nice and soft, back of the neck nice and long. You're thinking about those collarbones staying nice and wide, smiling wide. You're thinking about that rib cage, peeling you up from the floor, working through that tummy, that spring shortening between your lower rib and your front hip bone. You're thinking about that lower belly engaged, those magnets drawing together. You're thinking about that pelvic floor drawing up, setting you in that lovely neutral spine, pelvis and centre. Lovely. Repeating a few more there. Gaze over those knees, working that tummy. Option to hold on to those small balls or another small weight. Just going to show you a couple with the legs down. Lovely, peeling through that rib cage. Nice and open through the collarbones. Let's go for one more. Now wherever you are, take a pause. If you've got your feet down, bring your feet up into that double tabletop. If you're in your double tabletop, stay there or go back into it. Pop one small ball down. We're going to peel up and we're going to circle that ball around the legs. So you need to lift high enough to make those circles round in one direction. Gaze over the knees, front of the neck nice and soft, collarbones open. Keeping that spring engaged between your lower rib and your front hip bone. Lovely. Switch direction of those circles. Keep breathing in and out nice and steadily. Centre engaged, spring engaged. Keep those balls circling for 3, 2 and 1. Lovely. Lower back down. Pop yourself out of that tabletop position for the moment. So we're going to come into our oblique version now. So again, you can either work from both feet down or this time work from your single tabletop. So one hand resting on the ball on the floor. The other ball's going to reach over to the side of that leg. So keep it on your knee to start with. So we're going to peel again in that diagonal line like we normally do with that oblique prep, but option to use that ball or that weight. Peeling up, reaching for that side and then lowering back down. Remember that crisscross on your belly. Peel that rib cage. Gaze across that knee where that ball's going. Breathe. Front of the neck nice and soft, collarbones open. Lovely, drawing that diagonal line from that lower rib across to that opposite front hip bone. Centre engaged. Legs nice and steady. So wherever you are, take a pause. If you've got both feet on the floor, bring that leg up to that single tabletop now. We're going to raise and hold and pulse that ball a little bit further each time. So raise up, now pulse, reach that ball, gaze across that knee, draw that diagonal line, shorten that spring each time, breathing, little pulses, little breaths. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely, lower back down. Take a little pause in the middle. We've got the other side to do. So pop that ball down, that's for your hand to rest on. The other one comes up. So either from here, so if you're in your feet down, you're just coming up into that normal position across the knee. Lovely. Or you're coming into that single tabletop. Just rest that ball there for a moment. Off we go. Peel up. Peel down. Peel up. Reach that ball across that knee and down. Don't forget, this is all coming from your center. All coming from those tummy muscles working really hard to peel you on and off the floor. Yes, the head and shoulders are moving, but they're just a byproduct of that movement coming from your rib cage. Keep those legs nice and steady and solid. Lovely, collarbones stay open. Back of the neck nice and long, as soft as you can be in the front of the neck. Lovely, 2 more before we pause. And again. Lovely, so if you've got one foot down, bring it up to that tabletop now. We're going to reach over, hold up and pulse. Breathe. Now reach a little bit further each time. Draw that diagonal line from one rib cage down to the opposite hip bone. Tighten that spring. Each time you reach, little breaths, little pulses. Lovely, keep that center set for 4, 3, 2, 1. Brilliant, pop that ball down, float that leg down, stretch out, reach out long. Let's have a little stretch off here. Lovely, so we're going to come into some one leg stretch work with the balls now, okay? We're going to start with our level 3. So we're going to come up into that double tabletop position. We're going to hold both balls onto our thighs. Remember, you can do all this without the balls. So balls or weights, we're going to come up into that double tabletop. Float one leg and then the other leg. So remember, in that level 3, we're starting to push one leg away. So I'm just resting my ball onto my thigh, pushing into that ball as that leg moves away. So just guiding that ball with the leg. So you just got a tiny bit of resistance, tiny little bit of weight onto that leg. And obviously if you're using little dumbbells, you can just hold those dumbbells, rest them on those thighs. Lovely. Reaching that toe to touch that light switch. Back of the neck nice and long. Collarbones open. Shoulder blades melt into the mat. Keep that spring engaged between your lower rib and your front hip bone. Keep that lower belly engaged. Magnets drawing together. Keep your pelvic floor drawing up. Keep that blueberry pinched between those bum cheeks. Lovely, good, breathe. Now we're going to speed it up a little bit and we're going to start to move those balls with the legs. So pause where you are, take both balls to the bent knee. We're going to start to switch, switch, touching those balls to the bent knee each time. So breathing, in, out, out, in, out, out. Moving a little bit quicker. Keep those toes pointing on that 45-degree angle. Push that toe away. Legs nice and light. Center set. Your spine, your pelvis doesn't move. We're keeping that lovely central core control as we push those legs away, building that dynamic stability for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Come back in. Float those legs down one at a time. Give those knees a little hug for a moment. Good. So we're going to come on to some double leg stretch work now. So this time, we're going to reach those balls to the ceiling. So quite challenging now to work around those D shapes with those balls. They're actually quite a lot of weight when you're trying to centralize and steady yourself from the center. So we're going to start with our level 3 double leg stretch. So we're going to float those legs up into that tabletop. One and then the other. Keep that centre nice and set. Remembering as those hands move, that's really when that rib cage is going to want to flare and draw upwards. So keep that spring engaged. So as we start to circle those arms around now, hovering overhead, we start to push those legs away one at a time. So each time you circle, push the leg, then switch sides. Lovely. So we're really working those arms and legs at the same time now. Each time those arms and legs move away, you want to breathe out. And as they come back in, you breathe back in. Lovely. Each time those arms and legs move away, that's really when you want to focus on keeping that centre lovely and set. Nice and relaxed through the head and the neck, long in the back of the neck, shoulder blades melt into the mat, collarbones nice and open. Keep that lower belly drawing in. Lovely. Keep that spring engaged, especially as those arms float overhead. Good work. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, last one. Lovely. Take a pause in the centre. We're going to go for a level 5 variation here. So we're going to go for a double leg push now as we circle those arms overhead, but we're keeping our head down. So you're going to work all at different levels. Pushing those legs higher towards the ceiling is going to be less challenging. Further away from you towards the floor, the more you have to work in that centre. Don't want to see the backs lifting from the mat here. Don't want to see the ribs flaring. Keep that spring engaged. Keep that connection of the back with the mat. Lovely, let's go. As we circle, we push those legs away. So remember, you might be here. Yeah, you might be here. Wherever you are, working hard in that centre to keep that control. As those balls circle, as everything moves away, breathe out. In, out, in. Good. Working that spring between your lower rib and your front hip bone. Soft in the front of the neck. Shoulder blades melting into the mat. No pain or tension in your back. If you're feeling that, you need to push your feet higher towards the ceiling. Lovely. You work at your own pace, your own control. Keep those magnets drawing together in your lower belly. Keep that pelvic floor drawing up. Keep that breath flowing. Let's go for 3. Last one. Good work. Float those arms down. Float those legs down. Good. Go for a stretch. Out long, legs out, arms out. And breathe. Good work. So we're going to come into some bridge work now. This time, option to push those small balls or weights up towards the ceiling. Okay? So we're just going to do a couple of reps here. Just take a moment just to pop that pillow out from under your head so we just get that little bit more range there. Okay? So push those balls towards the ceiling. So we're going to roll up into that bridge doing a couple of reps there. So feel that movement through your pelvis. Start to push up towards the ceiling. Pushing those headlights nice and steady and even. Lovely. Collarbones stay open, neck nice and relaxed. And then peel yourself back down. So the next couple of reps we're going to take a little bit quicker. We're not going to worry so much about that tailbone roll. We're just going to push those hips straight up, straight down. Draw those sit bones together. Feel those buttock muscles engaging. Pushing, a little bit quicker now. Headlights just push towards the ceiling and back down. Good work. Let's hold the next one up. Take a pause. Draw those sit bones together. Engage those buttocks. Now push those headlights a little bit further towards the ceiling. Just take a moment to glance down. Make sure your headlights are nice and even at the same height. Good. Pulsing and breathing. Little pulses, little breaths. Excellent. Take a pause. Hold at the top. Engage your buttocks. Draw those sit bones together. Don't forget about the front of the body. Keep that lower belly engaged. Keep that spring engaged. Now lower those balls overhead, back to the ceiling, overhead, back to the ceiling. Lovely, nice and even weight bearing through your feet and your legs. Don't feel like you're pushing more weight through one foot or the other foot. And breathe. Hold the height of that bridge, water rushing underneath you. Pause at the top. Open those balls to the side and back in. Lovely. Keep that height of that bridge. Headlights nice and even. Neck and head nice and relaxed. Draw those sit bones together. Keep those bottom muscles working. Keep that lower belly engaged. Don't let those ribs pop up towards the ceiling. Let's go for 3. And 1. Lovely. Push those balls to the ceiling again. Let's lower down slowly now. Breastbone, top of the rib cage, bottom of the rib cage, lower back, and let that tailbone touch down. Lovely. Lower those balls down to the sides. Excellent. So bring that pillow just back under that head now. So now we're going to just do a little bit of scissors work here with the balls, okay? So again, we're going to take those balls. We're going to come up into our double tabletop first. So we're going to float through so we can prep for that level 3. So remember, breathe out, come into that double tabletop. Just take a minute here just to check down through that pelvic diamond. Are you nice and flat line between your belly button and the front of your pelvis? Lovely. Keeping that centre, that nice neutral engaged. So keep that same connection with your back with the mat the whole way through. Open those collarbones, melt those shoulder blades into the mat. Back of the neck nice and long. Take those balls to your thighs, pop one foot down. We're going to go for that scissor switch. Nice and slow to begin with. Pushing those balls just into those thighs, giving that little bit of resistance. Lovely. Keeping that spring engaged. Keeping those shoulder blades melting into the mats. Maybe switching that breath in, out. Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way round, but you know what I mean. In, out. That's better. Wherever you are, just alternating that breath. Back of the neck nice and long. Collarbones open. Lovely. Centre engaged. Let's start to go a bit quicker now. 2 breaths. In, out, out, in. And you'll notice I'm moving from my thighs. I'm not just tapping my feet up and down. Use those balls to push those thighs away and then drive those thighs back in. Working hard through your centre. Lovely. Front of the neck nice and soft. Shoulder blades melt into the mat. Don't let that pelvis wobble around. Keep that centre set. Lower belly's engaged. Lovely. Take a pause. Pop that leg back down. Good work. Let's go for another little stretch overhead. Legs out long. So we're going to finish off with our side bend now, using those small balls as an option again. So earlier on we worked quite hard on the wrists. So there's 2 options for this side bend. You have your level 1, where you're going to be down onto your elbow, okay? Knees bent. Push the knees back far enough that they're in line with your body and just pop your feet back up in line with your knees. So for this version, you're going to just take the ball, rest it onto your side, and you'll be lifting up into your side bend from this level 1 position. Now we're going to come into a twist. So if you're working from this level 1 position, when we move into that twist, you're going to reach that ball down to the elbow and then reach it back up again. Down to the elbow and then reach it back up. So if you're taking that version, that is your level 1 option for either side. So your other option is to come into your level 2. So to set up for the level 2 position, just have that hand a little bit further out from your shoulders. You allow yourself to move up onto that arm when you come up. You set yourself up with this foot just sitting in front of the other foot, a little bit further away from you so you've got some room to move up into that side bend. So if you're coming into your level 1, come into your position now. For this level 2, we're going to push and reach that ball overhead. So you're coming all the way up into that full side plank position and then back down. So breathe in and out. Let's breathe in to hold and out to lower down. In, out, in and out. Lovely. So you're imagining in this side bend, whether you're down in that level 1 with your knees down and onto the elbow, or whether you're up in this level 2. You've got a rope tied around your waist. That rope is lifting those hips, using all that strength here along the underneath side of the body to lift you up. That ball is reaching high and then you're coming back down. You're thinking about being sandwiched between 2 panes of glass, so those headlights on the front of your hips facing directly forward, those headlights on your shoulders facing directly forward. Your head and neck nice and relaxed, moving in line with the movement. Lifting that top hip, reaching it up towards the ceiling. Lovely, good work. Engage through your centre. Engage through those lower bellies. Draw up that pelvic floor. Keep that rib cage engaged. Good. Let's hold the next one up. So wherever you are, whether you're up here or you might be down into your level 1, okay? So wherever you are, level 1, level 2, we're going to go for a twist. So reach that ball. Touch your elbow if you're in your level 1. Reach for that hand if you're in your level 2. And then twist back. Lift that bottom as you reach through. And twist back again. Lovely. Let's breathe out. Lovely. In to reach. Out. And in. Out. And in. Keep drawing that lower belly in. Keep drawing that pelvic floor up. Let's go for one more after this. Keep that elbow nice and soft. Last one. Good. And then breath out as you lower yourself back down. Good work. So keeping nice and soft on that elbow if you're up into that level 2 position. So let's come to the other side. So in that level 1, you'll be here, yeah, just pushing up with that ball, yeah, and coming into that twist. Or if you're coming into that level 2, if you did it on the other side, then come into that level 2 on this side. So just pop this foot just in front, just pop my pillow out of the way, so you've got that room to move up. Just a little bit of a gap for now, because when you come up, you're going to be pushing onto that arm. Let's rest that ball here. So let's come up. Breathe out. Into hold. Out to lower down. Lovely. Headlights of those hips facing forward the whole time. Lovely. Shoulders facing forward. Head, neck nice and relaxed, moving in line with the movement. Keep that breath flowing. In. Out. In. Out. Good. Keep going. Remember that rope around your hips, lifting those hips. The more you work through your centre, the more you engage through that lower belly, the more you draw up through the pelvic floor, the more you keep that rib cage nice and engaged. You're going to have less pressure on this arm and shoulder. It's definitely a workout for that arm and shoulder, but use your centre to help. Hold this one up now. Let's breathe. Into that twist. Lift that bottom, let that twist happen. So those headlights are pushing down towards the floor this time. We are twisting in our trunk and our rib cage. We're keeping that elbow nice and soft, no locking of that elbow. The head is just following with the movement. Lovely, allowing that movement through the body now as we build that lovely rotational strength. Let's go for one more. And breathe out to lower yourself back down. Lovely work.